Hi, Dharma Circle. Swati here, the Embodied Dharma Coach. Today's class is for those of you who want a prosperity secret, insider secrets that are based on body and nature and the cosmos. So I'm going to lay out 7 different ways to improve your success, your business prosperity, using the wisdom of nature, your body's cycles and rhythms, nature's cycles and rhythms, as well as the cosmos, and using Vedic astrology to support you with improving your results. And this is something that nobody talks about in the business world, certainly in the online coaching realms and, marketing, business marketing, all of these ways that people support improving your business success and your prosperity. And a lot of those success tools work. But when we start on the wrong foot or at the wrong time in, say, a cycle that is not supporting abundance and prosperity, your results will fall flat. Or at the bare minimum, your results will not be as good as they could be. These are resources and tools that I have used for well over a decade, and I attribute these resources and tools to my success and my longevity in my business. It's been, over a decade now that I've been sharing my gifts and wisdom and coaching and growing a 6-figure plus business now. And if I wasn't using these resources, nature's cycles and rhythms, my own body wisdom, and the cosmos, Jyotish, the intelligence of Vedic astrology, I don't think that I would be this successful. Having a business and growing your business, it's hard enough, and it takes a lot of commitment and willingness to keep thriving and succeeding and getting support and all of the things that a business requires in order for you to be successful. So why not make it easier for yourself? That's what today's class is all about. So nature, your body, the cosmos, they are your secret tool for more abundance and material world success. When we can align more fully with nature, cycles, rhythms, our own body, the intelligence of the cosmos, we get more support. We get nature support. And that is infinitely powerful and potent for your success. So I'm going to go through some different steps for syncing with nature, cycles, and rhythms. And notice what you're doing already. Many of you might be using some of these resources already, and some of you may need to ramp up a little bit and be more mindful about when you're launching. Because the truth is, if you have not had the success that you're really wanting yet, there's a reason for that. Now, there's the inner work that has to get done. That's ongoing. There's the strategies and the success tools that are required to grow a business. You have to be committed to those two things. So the inner work and the outer success tools in order to grow your business. But think about that launch that you just did, or the last time you did a promotion of your offerings. Was it unsuccessful, or was it not as successful as you'd hoped for because you didn't start it in a fruitful cycle? Are you not getting the clients that you need? You want to grow your business, but maybe you're not getting more clients. And is it because you're in a dark phase, or you're in a planetary cycle that's unsupportive for growth? Those are good things to know about in order to be in right relation with nature and your own success. And then, there are also people who are constantly pushing for something to work and the effort required in order to be successful. There's a lot of, a lot of action taking. There's a lot of energy involved for a successful business. And if nature's not supporting your growth and expansion, that's a good thing to know, because many people are not in right relationship with nature's cycles and rhythms. Jyotish is a huge resource for this. But I think about this all the time, especially from a relationship perspective. People who are really wanting and desiring love and relationship, and when we look at the Jyotish chart, they're not even in the realm of having a relationship. Saturn's not supporting it. They're in a dasha period that is not helpful. The transits, are not supporting relationship. And it's just disappointment after disappointment. It's the same for your business. So you want to do a big launch and you are hoping to really expand and grow, but the transits just quite frankly aren't supporting it. And maybe you're not in a dasha cycle for expansion. These are good things to know. It's also really important to remember the wisdom of nature. Every low tide is followed by a high tide. Every high tide is followed by a low tide. So understanding these cycles and rhythms, high tide, low tide, am I in a new moon or a full moon? What is supporting the growth and expansion? Or am I, pushing for something when I'm in a low tide cycle? So we need to be really aware of what supports and what allows growth. And at the same time, when we're in a rest phase, when we're in a low tide phase, a dark moon phase, that is rest time. And I want to say this very intensely, because I feel like our society, and certainly as sensitive, gifted women, we must remember this rule. But if you are not honoring the low tide, if you are not honoring the darkness, if you are not doing your grief work, if you're in a grief phase and you're not doing that work, you will not and cannot maximize your high tide, your next phase of expansion and growth. The extent to which you do your grief work and you honor that darkness and that rest, the winter, will be the extent to which you can expand and flourish during the summer seasons. Really important to understand. If you are not doing your grief work, that is a huge red flag and going to be a problem in terms of your expansion and growth. And I hear this all the time, which is why I'm reiterating this. And I want to remind you, everything that I'm sharing with you today, it doesn't matter. If you're not doing your grief work and you are not doing your ancestral work, your trauma work, the inner work required in order to expand and grow and receive and feel nourished and bountiful and abundant, it doesn't matter how synced up with the cycles you are, because you're just bypassing and avoiding. So we can't do that. We have to honor both the darkness, the inward, the grief, and then we can be ready for expansion and growth. And when we look at a Jyotish chart, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at a map of your body. We're looking at how the cosmos and nature are influencing your body. And so it becomes this very helpful map of fine-tuning and understanding. And I had a session with one of my mentorship clients yesterday, and we really highlighted for her annual cycle. When the sun hits her Rahu, how the self-deprecating thoughts and feelings and low self-worth show up. And it's, a month long. Every year she notices this time of year, there it is again. Well, guess what? You can plan for this. every year, if Rahu touches, or if Sun touches your Rahu at this time of year, then prepare for this grief cycle. And it's the same if Sun is touching your Ketu, transiting over your Ketu, it will be a grief cycle. So we can prepare for those moments in the calendar. And there are other indications of that we can look at and prepare for, but that's an example. So the chart can be very instrumental in helping us understand these moments of grief. And then, if Sun's in your 9th or your 10th or your 11th house, it's showtime. It's game time. That's when you want to be ready to rise and shine. And then we look at the other cycles and rhythms to determine how fruitful that will be. But Jyotish is one of the resources that is so important for tracking and syncing up with nature and your body and the cosmos. Jyotish does it all, quite frankly. And if you are a business owner and you want to have a prosperous business, then Jyotish is really a helpful resource to support you in strengthening right time and being in right relationship with nature's cycles and rhythms. So let's dive in. I'm going to give you my 7 ways to cycle with the cosmos, with nature, with body. And of course, Jyotish is my number 1. But here's a little tip for those of you who know in your Jyotish chart what your strongest natal planet is. And this is, if you have a Jyotish chart from me, if you have a North Indian style chart, you can look at the highest degree planet. You can look at Digbala if you have the charts calculated for your strongest planet. You can also look at, in the chart, what's in the 1st house, what's in the 10th house, 9th house. These are placements of strength. And so looking for the strongest planet, it has the strongest degrees, it's the happiest, it's in right relationship with the house it's in, the sign it's in, it's doing really well. That will correlate to a day of the week that is your strongest day of the week. Every day of the week in the calendar has a planet that is associated with it. So Monday is Moon Day, Tuesday is Mars Day, Wednesday is Mercury Day, Thursday is Jupiter Day, Friday is Venus Day, Saturday is Saturn Day, and Sunday is Sun Day. So let's say you have a really strong sun in your chart. Sun is, of course, it correlates to Sunday. So you'll want to take big steps, action steps, steps you want to be fruitful. On Sunday, you'll probably naturally feel more energized and awake on a Sunday as well, and that is a good indication that this is your day for prosperous action and outcomes that you want to be fruitful and positive. So like that, figure out the strongest day of the week for you and take action accordingly. Next, the moon cycles. And most of us are familiar with the power of the moon and the waxing and the waning cycles. I'm inviting you to track your energy. Most of us will feel quite a bit of expansion and big energy on the waxing side of the full moon and then a few days after the full moon. Now you can also check in your natal chart what tithi your moon was in at the time of your birth. This will indicate what your connection is with the phases of the moon and also what feels most comfortable to you. This can also be a phase of the moon that is your strongest and can support you in the waxing and waning cycles. For most of us, it's just across the board. We have more energy around the time of the full moon. We're going to be taking our biggest, most bold, action-oriented steps in the waxing phase. And in the waning phase and in the new moon, that is a time to pull back. It's a time for rest. That's not a time to be launching things. So it's well known in Ayurveda that the new moon is when we ovulate. So there is a connection to creativity and potential. It's a time of potential. The full moon is when we release and let go and bleed. If we're in harmony with nature's cycles and rhythms, we bleed with the full moon, we ovulate with the new moon. And so I want to invite you to think about that in terms of energy. So there's big release and letting go that comes with the full moon. There is potential and rest that comes with the new moon. And plan your calendar accordingly. So when you're planning out big launches or sharing classes or, a promotion cycle, content even, don't do the big stuff with the new moon. We have a new moon today. Today's energy is pulling back inward, rest, solace, silence, meditation, quiet time. And really it's a digestion time when the body, mind, emotions need pause and rest in order to digest. So plan accordingly for that. And this brings me to hormones and fertility cycles. If you are moving towards ovulation and during ovulation, this is big energy. And even though that may happen around the new moon, be mindful of the action steps that you're taking and that you are maybe taking big inward steps. So behind the scenes, you're taking big action steps. You may have more energy at that time, and so you can do things that are preparing you for that next high tide moment. And that's how I like to do this. So when that energy is big, I'm taking steps in the background that are the big steps necessary for the next fruitful phase. And when it is your period and you are bleeding, that's your time to rest and release and restore. And if it comes with the full moon, you have to balance that with the big energy of the moon, but the body's need to rest at the same time. So this is important information. And this is actually opposite from what most people say these days. And I'm taking this from Vaidya Ramakant Mishra and his tradition, the Shakavansya tradition. And it's well known in the Ayurvedic traditions and in many ancient traditions that bleeding with the full moon is it's a sign of health and vitality, and then to ovulate with the new moon. So balance your energy and the steps that you're taking, outward steps that you're taking, if your body is on that rhythm. And if it's on the opposite rhythm, then you may naturally find yourself taking big steps around the full moon, wanting to be visible, wanting to be seen, and in the low tide moments, actually having the need to rest and relax and pause and again digest. So track your hormones. If you are postmenopausal or even in menopause, then just remember that the moon phases and the moon cycles are still influencing you. It doesn't matter if you're in a fertile cycle or not. It's the moon and the transits and what's happening in nature that still influences your body and will influence your body till you drop the body. So always remember that it's the moon and her tides that are supporting these energetic shifts. And then, of course, if you are still in your fertile phases of life, track your hormones and really understand when you're leading up to ovulation and leading up to your bleed, because this is very important for your business and your money. And new moon and full moon, money tends to come with full moon and big energy of the moon, and don't expect money around the new moon. It just doesn't happen. People don't take action steps around the new moon. And I've noticed this over the years. And I used to panic, like, oh, nothing's happening. No one's showing up. And then, oh, we're in a new moon phase. And no wonder. And then things start to ramp up again around the full moon, and people take action, and, new clients and money starts showing up around that. So always track moon phases and your fertility cycles. The next piece of fine-tuning the moon awareness is nakshatras. Nakshatras are lunar constellations. There are 27 nakshatras in the Jyotish system. There's actually 28. The 28th nakshatra, very few people use, but it is considered very sacred. Most of us use the 27 nakshatras, and I like to add that 28th when we need to honor something very auspicious. And that 28th nakshatra only occurs in a small slice of Capricorn. So something would have to fall into those very specific degrees. The lunar constellations, or the nakshatras, each have a very specific connection to nature, deities, natural law, energy, the gunas, elements, planets. Studying the nakshatras is one of the most powerful ways to understand nature's intelligence. The nakshatras support emotion, intuition, and our alignment with natural law. The nakshatras have different qualities. There are gentle, there's harsh, there's, aggressive, there's gentle, sweet, there's mixed. If you want something to be fruitful and prosperous, and you started under an aggressive or negative constellation, you will not reap the benefits of those action steps in the way that you'd been hoping for. Consequently, if you have to take a harsh, aggressive action and you do it under a gentle, mild, sweet constellation, it will likely not yield the results you want either. The nakshatras are the best way to understand right timing and stepping into something new that you want to be prosperous with right relation. And so nakshatras are essential. If you do nothing else, track the moon constellation daily. It changes roughly every 24 hours. And you can do that with software, or you can find an app that will support you with that. Then the next piece is seasonal shifts. So it's well known that seasonal shifts change the light, and light's shifting throughout the season. In the winter, we have very low light. Days are very short. Night is very long. In the summer, we have very long days and shorter nights. So that's the light of the sun. Sun is our life force, our source of life and vitality in this body, in this life. Track the seasonal shifts. Pay attention. Spring and summer have bigger movement and momentum. Winter is slower, gentler, more inward. Don't be launching big things in the middle of winter, okay? And I've done this so many years, and I've tried so many different things, but just remember, November to February, people are not checked in and ready for a big action step. Most people are, inward hibernation mode for Northern Hemisphere. And so just a reminder to really take into consideration the time of year when you launch something and the quality of light available, because that influences everyone's ability to take action. The light of the sun each day is also important. And from an Ayurvedic perspective, there are literally times of day that influence best results for certain activities. So the light of the sun each day will energize and support action steps. Morning to afternoon, ideal for action, focus, anything that you need to be focused on and get energy and, results from. And then as the sun sets and wanes, it's time for rest and more restoration. And so time of day is also very important. Pay attention as well to the time of day you were born, because that's going to be your best time of day for getting something done. If you were born in the middle of the night, your best getting something done is sleep and rest. If you were born in the middle of the day, that's going to be a quality of, I'm here to take action, and this time of day is my best time of day for getting results. Take action around that time of day. Pay attention to the light of the sun and use the full light of the day to get the most action and results. And the final way to cycle with nature and the cosmos and your body is know your dosha. So from an Ayurvedic perspective, we have 3 doshas, and then each dosha has sub-doshas. The main doshas are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata is air, Pitta is fire, Kapha is water and earth. So knowing your predominant dosha will help you understand your personal rhythm and quality and element for best practice, for best success and results. If you're Vata, you need to calm the body down. The air quality is really strong, and these people tend to not follow through. They're kind of airheady. And so you need to remember commitment, consistency, follow through. And following Vata pacifying diet and times of day that support Vata and seasons that support Vata. Pitta's fire. And so again, pacifying Pitta and being mindful of not overworking and too much goal focus, and really pacifying that fire and that heat. The Kaphas tend to be very sluggish, sedentary, might not get things done very quickly or consistently. And so the Kaphas need to stay committed for the long haul, follow through. They need to pick up the pace a little bit. They need a little more energizing. And again, understanding Kapha pacifying diet and time of day that supports Kapha element, and time of year, and all of this can be so helpful for improving your business success and your ability to be prosperous, successful, because you're in right relationship with your body and the wisdom of your body. And our body is a reflection of nature and natural law. All right, so those are the 7 ways to honor your body and business using the wisdom of nature, improve your prosperity and success. Tell me which one you need to work on, or what is the area that you are going to focus on in the coming cycles and rhythms in order for more success and prosperity. My Jyotish certification course starts in October. The waitlist has already been growing. If you are interested in joining this first time ever, we're doing a year-long certification for my embodied Vedic astrology approach to Jyotish. And we are gathering soon, and I'm so excited about this course. It's going to be phenomenal. So if you would like the details, comment waitlist below. We'll be covering things like this very topic in this course. If you'd like to be on the wait list for more information about my embodied Vedic astrology certification course, comment waitlist below. We will send you all the details coming later this month. Registration begins in September. We are starting in October. All right, everyone, next week I'll bring you another resource for body and business, and I will see you soon. Bye.